This is Anna Runyon at classycareergirl.com, and today in my networking challenge, I'm interviewing Mona Abdel-Halim, who's the co-founder of Resonate. Resonate is an online web application that can help you improve and evaluate your resume for each job that you're applying to. So I'm so excited to speak with her today. She's done some guest posts on Classy Career Girl in the past. Thanks so much for being here, Mona.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, Anna. Thank you.
Yep. So let's get started with how applicants can differentiate themselves in this tough job market that we're in.
That's probably the number one question we get. And it's funny how many emails we get from people who ask us not only that for their resume, but also how can they do it even outside of their resume. So if you're applying to jobs at a large organization, it's actually quite simple. A lot of people don't realize that employers are scanning resumes before they score and rank candidates and decide who they're going to interview. So
Mhm.
one way of differentiating yourself is just putting your resume in a very easy to understand and organized format so it's easily scanned into those systems. A second way of differentiating yourself is making sure you're really reading the job description before you apply so that you understand how to tailor your resume, your cover letter, even your interview. And then thirdly, of course, that you speak about a lot is networking, making
Mhm.
sure you truly understand the culture of not only the company, but the department that you're applying to, what you have to offer to them, and you've made that effort to show that you're interested.
Okay.
Because right now, companies are spending a lot of money just to retain their employees, so having that enthusiasm and interest in a particular organization really gets you far along that hiring process.
Okay. So let's talk more about the tool you created. How can Resonate help applicants create resumes that hiring managers want to see?
So the way that Resonate does that, when I should talk about how we first came about
Hmm.
even thinking up Resonate, we spoke with a lot of job seekers on what were their pain points. And we realized that job seekers were either submitting a general resume to, a million different companies, or they were spending huge amounts of time tailoring their resume for every job. And we just saw this as being an inefficient process. And so we started to speak with HR directors and employers to see how they processed resumes. And what we tried to do with Resonate is create a tool so that you can quickly evaluate your resume the way an employer would see it and improve it. So the way you would do that on resonate.com is you can upload your resume or even import your LinkedIn profile because that's the way a lot of people are applying to jobs now. And then you could just copy and paste your dream job description and we'll actually give you a score out of 10.0
Hmm.
that's almost identical to the score that employers see, which they then rank candidates against. And we'll even tell you, based off of your resume, what are the key skills that you seem to have. So you get an idea of the impression that you're leaving on an employer because oftentimes you send your resume to friends and family members and you don't realize that the impression you're giving off may not be the one that you want the employer to have. So even if you have a smorgasbord list of skills, you may want to cut back on some of those skills to show yourself in a certain focused light. And that's what Resonate helps you do. We even have an autofocus feature that's a one-click button that automatically selects the most highly matched parts of your resume
Hmm.
and arranges that in an easy-to-scan format so that you have that tailored resume for any job in seconds.
Okay. And I have seen your web demo before, and it is really amazing at how easy you make it. Such a complicated process, you make it a lot easier. So.
Thank you.
Mhm. So another thing you do on Resonate is you use your personality type. So how can applicants use their personality type, such as the myers-briggs profile, when they're applying to jobs?
That's a great point. Oftentimes, we don't realize that what makes us unique is our personality
Mhm.
and the social networks and connections that we have. So an assessment like Myers-Briggs or any number of assessments out there can really help you evaluate what do you bring to the table that's unique to others. So what we've done is we've partnered with the publishers of the Myers-Briggs assessment, so you can take the assessment through Resonate for a discounted price. And then what we do is feedback your personality type. So an example of a personality type, such as mine, I'm an ENTJ.
Okay.
That means I'm an extrovert. I tend to like to think intuitively. I'm a thinker, so I tend to plan. And the last letter J stands for judging, which means I like to make decisions quickly. So it helps you identify how you interact with the world and how you make decisions. So when an employer asks you a question such as, how are you going to contribute on a team? You have bullet points that we provide you that tell you how you're likely to fit in at that organization. And we even give you tips based off of the job description that you insert into Resonate.
Okay.
So we reference what kind of personalities do well in different jobs, and we tell you how your personality can be honestly a competitive advantage.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things one of my career counselors in my business school told me to do is kind of integrate your personality profile into your resume because it makes you unique and stand out and not just another resume.
Exactly. And by all means, your personality should not be a selection criteria. So we actually advise that you don't put your personality type on your resume, but like you mentioned, your resume should be a teaser. It should almost be like an online dating profile. You want to entice the hiring manager or recruiter to call you in for an interview to find out more about you,
Hmm.
not everything all at once.
Right. Okay. So what made you decide to start your company?
Well, it largely started 2 years ago. I was a graduate student myself in business school. I was also getting my master's in public policy, and my co founders and I were in a student research group looking at how we can utilize technology from different institutions at Carnegie Mellon University to solve different labor issues. So, as I mentioned before, we spoke to a lot of job seekers and asked them what were the problems that they were facing on a daily basis. And surprisingly, resumes were always brought up. So that's when we realized, okay, there's a lot of, myths roaming around there. There's a lot of resume builders online, but they don't give you quantitative feedback, and they don't help job seekers understand how they're being evaluated by employers.
Okay.
So that's when, after graduate school, we got accepted into a business accelerator and we prototyped Resonate, did a study, showed that it doubled the chances of someone getting an interview. So then we thought, well, this is good enough to publicly release.
Wow. So did
So
you did you always see yourself being an entrepreneur or did this just come out of nowhere?
I've always been entrepreneurial,
Mhm.
but going into business school, I'm very application based, and at the end of getting my MBA, I thought it was the ideal time to start a company. I had just learned all these skills
Mhm.
that presumably equipped me to run a business. So I was really inspired at the end of my graduate school to start a business, and I've worked for all different kinds of organizations, and I do prefer smaller, more energetic organizations.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up here.
Okay. So this last question is a question that I ask at the end of all my interviews. What is one thing you wish you would have known as a young professional woman just starting out in her career?
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
I think when I was young, I really did suffer from the imposter syndrome. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it was the idea of I knew I was capable of many things, um, but I just felt like, sometimes maybe I didn't have the skills and I didn't really know if certain career paths were viable or open to me. So I, too early on in my career development just negated them.
Hmm.
So I think earlier on, I wish I knew that even with my undergraduate degree in biochemistry, I could have applied to consulting or, different types of jobs that I didn't think were an option. So I've since been, an advocate for very multidisciplinary programs and showing people different career paths that they can follow because when I was younger, I didn't realize the breadth of opportunities that I had at hand.
Okay. So even if you pick something, you don't have to end up there. You can use it other places as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So where can people find out more about you and your company?
Well, anybody can go to resonate.com, and we in fact have a free demo on our homepage. So you could even enter your resume and your dream job and score it. You can also sign up for a free or premium account. And then you can find out about me by following me on Twitter. My handle is at MonaFro. And I'm also usually participating in our Resonate Twitter chat, which, in fact, you were a guest host of not too long
Yep. It
ago.
was a lot of
Um,
fun, that's for sure.
yeah, we had a lot of great activity on, your topic, which was on networking,
Hmm.
and the next one's likely to be on using social media for job seeking,
Okay.
and that's every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. You just have to follow the hashtag ResuChat, and yeah, but resonate.com.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. Again, this is Anna running at classycareergirl.com.
Thank you.